All right, so in this video, I will be showing you how to calculate your budget. And it's so important for many seller, like even my student, I forced them to get the sheet together because this is how they calculate their profit. They calculate their initial capital and also capital distribution toward the business. And one of the rule that I learned from my mentor is that if you are fail to plan, you plan to fail. So that's why the planning part is so crucially important to help people, like new entrepreneur, to plan accordingly. Because most of us here that are watching this video, perhaps we are 9 to 5, transitioning to a business owner. And the 9 to 5 mindset is completely different than entrepreneurship mindset. A 9 to 5 mindset is when you have, let's say you put in X amount of money, you expect to have a return right away without risk. No, you don't put in money, you put in time. But for entrepreneurship, you put in time and money. So that's why it's so important for you to learn the, to how to manage your money, how to know where the capital distribution is, just as well as your time. So when you have full and clear picture, it's easy for you to know how much money you need to put toward your inventory, marketing budgets, and miscellaneous fee. And in this case, in this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can calculate your budget based on your own capital and your earning rate, okay? So that I can help you plan accordingly. So right now on, I'm going to be blurring your face out, but right now, how much is your current saving, okay? Because I want you to be honest with me. That way we can plan it better. And you can hide your face too, okay? So how much is your current capital? You can unmute yourself. Yep. Uh-huh. At the moment, how much money that you set aside for this business? Just throw me a number, okay? Let's just throw it together 1,500, okay? This is like very little, okay? Because the a good minimum is about 3,000, okay? So 3,000 is a good number to start this brand. And remember, we're not throwing money out the window. We're actually purchasing products, okay? We're actually purchasing product. And let's say every single month. So this is gonna be your initial capital. And then you also have monthly 9 to 5 income coming in. And I want you to set aside about, let's say, $200, depending on other people, rate and stuff. But for me, when I starting my business, I do set aside my monthly income, a couple $100. But I know that in 6 months time frame, in 6 months, 6 month time frame, that gonna be huge number. Not in term of like for most people that watching this member right here may not be huge for some people that watching this, but for me, when I was working multiple job as a nail tech, as a tutor, this is a huge number for me to save within like 6 months. Consider that I have to catch up with all the bill and stuff. But the bigger picture and the point I'm trying to share with you is number one, your initial capital. Number two, set aside every single month. Think of it like a piggy bank that you're gonna build toward your future. And in a 6 month time frame, you're gonna have at least $4,200. Because I know that there's a lot of people who are going out spending a couple $100 or like going on a trip, but those are considered like spending. It's not like building. So perhaps people can save, like save one night out, or let's say one eating out, like one trip, and just lock in for the next 6 months to build this business. You're gonna save a lot of money most of the time. So let's say we're gonna start with this capital, okay? Initially, you don't need to come up with this much right away because most of the time, the time frame gonna be from finding your first product. That could be a 1 month, 1 to 2 months, finding your first products, and then sourcing for the product. That could be another month. So you're not looking at spending money within the first 3 months of learning how to find the products and how to like product developments. But by month three, okay? Let's see, month one, two, three, 4, 5, 6. So usually this month right here gonna be laying the foundation and upgrade your software from 9 to 5 to entrepreneur. And then on month number 2, product research. Or you can do this simultaneously, but the first 2 months is all about laying the foundation. Because if I were to ask most people, if I'm gonna give you a task to chop down a tree, and I only give you 1 hour, and how would most people distribute their time to maximize chopping down that tree, right? Most people, they just go around and do unnecessary things. But the core value here is about the foundation, which is sharpening the axe. If I were given 1 hour, I'm gonna spend almost half of the time just sharpening the axe until I feel like it's strong enough to chop the tree down. But most people do the opposite. Most people have distraction. That's why in here you need to learn about focus. You need to learn how entrepreneur think, and then you're gonna apply this to your product research for perseverance and discipline, and finding the product while training your mind to think sharp. And by month three, perhaps you have a product. That's when you can start sourcing. So as you see the time distribution here, the first 3 months, you're not gonna be using this money. But perhaps let's say near the end of month three, when you finalize, let's say you order a sample, $100 sample, and after you finalize everything, you decided, okay, now it's time for me to place a bulk order. That's when these come to, this money gonna start going toward uh, inventory. Okay, it's gonna go first into inventory. And let's say right now we have working capital is about three. I'm gonna put about 4,200. Okay, 4,200.
I wish I had the starting capital. I had it in just an at 20K.
And no worry,
Meaning, you know,
no worries. Remember, the perfect time was 10 years ago, and the second perfect time is now. And again, don't look back, because looking back would not help, but rather than just learn the lesson. Whatever the thing that you learned from the past, just be happy learning it. Don't feel sad not learning it. I mean, don't feel sad learning it. Feel happy learning it, because everything happy happened for you for a reason. If a kid never touched a hot pan, he would never know that the pan is hot. But he learned from it. But you be happily learn from it. That is the key mindset in entrepreneurship. Happily going through the good and the bad. And that's why I tell people to lay the foundation right on the mindset. Because in the entrepreneurship journey, you're going to encounter so many unfortunate situations where you want to give up, you know, but just don't. Happily going through the journey, the motion. So come back here. So if you take a look here, 4,200, capital distribution for you going to be about 1,200 right here, 1,200 right here, and 1,200 right here. But because let's say we have limited amount of budget capital upfront, meaning that we need to be extremely conservative. Okay. So inventory gonna take about 1 month to production. Okay. Production, 1 month production, 1 month to source. Okay. And during this time phase number 3, you just need this much amount to go into employment. I'm gonna deploy this amount into employment on here. Remember earlier we have this capital, right? But we're not gonna distribute them all in once. We're gonna let them go into phases, like a war, you know? Let them go into phases. Right now in sourcing, this is gonna be this phase. And remember, we can always play around with these numbers, okay? Perhaps 30%, you can do 40%, reducing it down and increase. These are the lever, like pull up and down lever, okay? So product right here, let's assume 1200. So our inventory here is about 1200, right? Let's see. Let's see, 200 units. Because you have limited capital, usually we recommend to sell the product around $35 and up. Okay. And so why 35 instead of $10 selling price item? Because at 35, you have more room to make profit. Because let's say 30% of $35 is still $67 compared to 30% of a $10 units is only like $3. So
And it won't cover your freight expenses, right? Yeah, advertising your marketing.
yeah, that is correct. And on top of it is that most people they're gonna go into the game with very limited and conservative budget. So you're gonna find yourself compete with a lot of people who are selling $10 items. So that's why we wanna sell further out and fish further out. Yes, we might increase our capital upfront a little bit higher, but if you have a better chance to catch the fish, it's still worth the guess to sell further out than finding yourself in, like, say, a crowded place where everyone trying to compete with each other, so in the shallow water. So that's why I said this for 35, but doesn't mean you cannot do a $30 item, okay? Because if you do a $30 item, your inventory budget gonna start ranging lower, like lower. So let's say 25. Perhaps this fit in with your budget, like approximately. Not exact, but you can lever these. Okay.
Inventory automatically, it's yeah directly parallel. So smaller you're selling.
Yep. That's one way, but there's also another way too. It's just like managing a household. Like you have kids, you understand how to managing your household. Perhaps let's say you want your kids to go to better school, or let's say you want to sell better, higher price product, right? Instead of order 200 units, you can order, let's say 180, or let's say 150. It still count. Remember the goal from the beginning is all about testing the market, testing the water. So these are the two lever. So you work backward, reverse engineer backward. Okay. Based on how much capital you have, and then inventory budget, and then working backward from the selling price down. So let's say your budget is like this much, right? And you want to hit the spot where you don't want to find yourself in a crowded spot with a lot of people. You're going to spend some money to sell further out, right? Same here. The higher the price, the further out that you are heading toward compared to the beginner who are just stuck in, let's say, I'm just going to spend $10. I'm just going to sell like $10 items. So there's going to be 1,000 of sellers trying to do like that. They put bare minimum effort and low risk and find themselves in a big competition. We're going to sell out like slightly, but knowing that we have higher chance to fish, okay? And then customer order, you see, based on this price, $35 selling price, customer order going to be 150 units, or let's say units, like selling, you're going to order 150 units. And usually the cost is the selling price divided by a third, okay? Automatic, these are one of the rules. So now your inventory budget falling into the actual, near the actual that we set aside earlier. And now production time during this time, you're basically not spending a lot on marketing budget, except let's say listing, creating your listing images right here, listing creation. Basically, you're building out photo images of your product so that when people landing on your store, they know. Let's say, let me give you an example. So this is considered listing images. If you have friends that do photography skill And if you feel like they can hook you up, you can also leveraging that relationship. And when you start making money, you can always pay them back. Perhaps they do you a favor in the future. You can also do them a favor back. We're living in an adult world where we can trade time, services, skill set, and money. Yeah. But these are, came back to the point. These are the listing images, the photo of the product, listing images, and these are the copywriting, like the sales, the bullet point, copywriting. So these are what will cost you some money that you would need to factor into this fee right here. You need to factor into this fee, which is $600 one time. Okay. Limited budget, friendly skill. And if you have resources available, let's say friend and family, you can use that. But if not, then you just have to start hiring someone else. So listing creation agency like professional could cost way upward. But again, you have to understand your budget from the beginning and play accordingly to the rule that you have set. Okay. And you have to trust your gut. And yeah, so um
The listing and worth a lot of
uh, we do have yep, we do have connection that we can providing to you as well. But remember, that's gonna be the cost that eating into this. Okay. Yeah. But that's why every month you set aside income to save. Okay.
definitely the next 6 months. Yeah.
Just let's go now. Let's cooking at home, reducing your expenses. Let's say right now you are spending on subscription, cut it down. Everything add up over time. Most American or like most people in their daily life or like monthly life, they spend way more subscription or unnecessary purchases. Cut down. Eat from home. Just commit to the next 6 months to save. And if you can hit that, let's say once you launch your store, you can splurge a little bit. Let's say you can treat yourself something nice, but it's all worth it. Okay. So let's come back here. Um, let's come back here. So right now we're on month 4, production time. During this time, you probably have saved up to about $800 already. Okay. Production and then shipping and then launching. So by this time, you already save at your 9 to 5 job $800 already. For deploy capital deployments so far, perhaps this amount. And then let's say I'm trying to be conservative with your situation as limited budget, okay? So let's say $600. So far you only deploy about 2,300 out of this. And you're not even touching these income yet. And perhaps shipping, you can ship either by sea or by air. Sea shipping is 3 times cheaper compared to air shipping. And most of the time, if you um most of our students, we recommend them to go with smaller items. So that way the cost of shipment is cheaper, storage fee is cheaper, easy to return, easy to store, and easy to ship. So the cost going to be cheaper. And the game plan here is all about risk minimization and increase your success rate. So I would consider perhaps shipping is another um $300 or $200 for these units. I'm just factoring, let's say $2 per units. So it's gonna be $300 for shipping. That bring this total up to about 300. It's like you're not even using enough of your capital initial. You're just like barely hitting this number. You see, it's really not a lot of money to start a private label brand if you do things strategically.
Smartly.
Uh-huh.
Really, this.
And and you just save. You just save. Keep saving. And don't quit your 9 to 5 job. Keep it there. But set a time and save it. Set a commitment. Because if you even fail the small commitment, you're not going to be able to like do big things. So set small commitments and commit to win this game. And let's say by month 6, you should have additional $1,200 in reserve. okay, for launching. And this emergency fund, we're not even touching it. There's other fee that coming in from Amazon, but the fee factor into the sales of the product. Let's say right now let's say right now this is your inventory, right? So we're gonna do revenue calculation right here. So with your budget, your revenue would not be 10K. We're gonna set this to be, let's see. So 35 multiplied by 150 units. So about 5,000. This is gonna be your revenue, and usually your profit can fall between so when you do profit calculation, you want to aim for 30% before marketing, okay? Before marketing. And I'm going to show you an example of this block right here from one of our latest student success. She just launched recently in July. Not this one right here. No, she launched a little bit, a couple months, but we able to talk in July with her. And let's see. Um, So I'm going to show you an example of our one of our latest students where she does come into play with limited budget, but because she is a mother and she have to manage her like her 9 to 5 job, bills, family bills and stuff like that. And it's understandable. But let's say if you were to set small goal and small revenue, and if you do it right, okay? If you do learn how to do your marketing right, you will be looking at a potential of about 20 to 50% profit margin. But I will be very conservative. I'm gonna we for business owner, the rule of thumb is always be more conservative, be overestimate so that you don't feel bad when things go wrong. So when for her, she only estimated about 30% net profit margin, but because she's doing everything right, from finding the right product, adding the right values, and do the right marketing, she able to
Crazy that just in July 140 sales was 2.8 and then her net profit booked out. It's almost up. It's almost 50%. You're correct because she did it right.
Mhm. Because she spent the time. So there are two type of people, okay? I do want to make a big disclaimer is that this success right here for her is considered that she put in the right work ethic. Most people expect things to be handled to them or buying to a mentorship or having a mentor is gonna be things can go easy. It's really not. Things can go better, less risk, but she still needs to execute. But based on this number, why I'm showing you this because there are people that have in the same situation as you with limited budget, but they play the game smartly. They plan ahead of time. And again, if you plan, if you uh, are good with planning, you are planning to be successful. But if you fail at planning, you are planning to fail. Okay. And that's why the sheet right here is important. And this is the sheet that we give it to our student. But I'm gonna be sharing this with you as well and the people that tuning in, because I feel like is would be a lot helpful for people to play this card smartly and not failing for those guru or having that stereotype that to build a brand you need to have, let's say, 30 to 40,000. No, you can start as low as you can, but do it smartly. Okay, do it smartly. This okay. So yeah, so this is gonna be your revenue, and usually most people are gonna break even on their first month, and that's why you break it even on their first month. So let's say June. So one another thing that I want to make it clear is in business, you it's not like a 9 to 5 job where you expect it to be stable at first, okay? Just like when you first driving a bike, you're gonna be wiggling left and right, up and down a little bit, but over time, it's the consistency that matter. I'm gonna show you an example for this. Okay, The best example is, let's say you have any product that you want to see or like wanting to sell. Look at historical data from the guy that's selling it. Um, they always start. Let's see. I think this not the right. Yeah,
EM10 is really the search engine.
yeah. It's give you the data. It's give you the data. I think this may not be the correct data points, but it may not be the correct data point here. But it's gonna be the chart for you to see where most sellers start. Most of the time, you see that it's like a heartbeat. It's not like consistently you hit 50 unit every single day like a 9 to 5 job where job is stable. It flow up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. But as long as you're still making progress a day, this is gonna be a passive income machine for you throughout the year. Because you basically have Amazon do all the work for you. Like this girl, she's still working at a 9 to 5 job, and these are the system. Like she have marketing campaign that run in the background. So she just need to manage about a couple hours a week. One you set up system, things can run on its own with just like management. Just like you buy stock, you buy an investment, you need to manage it. That's all. That's considered passive income with involvement, like semi involvements. Okay. But again, big disclaimer, I don't want to misleading everyone. Is success matter based on how much effort that you put in. Like for this girl, limited budget, but she show up, she did well. And we also have the guy that you saw, his name is Angel. He is also Filipino. Never started business before. Mhm. But his number is different. He grew really big and fast because he do have bigger capital deployment. Okay. So don't set too high expectation for yourself that you need to launch and make this much amount without understand how much money you have from the beginning. Okay. When you have this, you know exactly where the destination is for your first match. And this is how we calculate how much money you need to start and how much money you need to reserve every single month. And again, you're not going to deploy all of your working capital on day one. You're going to start slowly drip it in around this time, this time, this time, and this time. But the first 2 months, focus on the mindset foundation and doing the right product research and product developments. And every month, do not quit your job. Set aside your monthly income. Set aside and put in your like dream biggie bank. Okay. Dream biggie bank. And let's say cut down on your expenses. The main goal in right here, when I teach my student, is all about cutting down expenses. You need to cut down unnecessary expenses, eat from home, cook from home, and perhaps going out less unless you deserve it. But if you hit this goal, then you can slurve, let's say, um, trip for family. When you start, let's say, making your first 1,000. Like one of our student, Angel, um, that's what he did. When he hit a certain target, he rewarding himself with trip travel, and then it stimulate your brain further. It's all about stimulating your brain. Yeah, right here. And because some people live in America, you can put it on credit card points. But for some, let's say outside of America, I don't know how the point system work. But in Philippines, do they have like travel points system like that?
Well, they do what you have to do able to also be qualified to actually be given. It's not like the US where they're more liberated in giving out credit card. Here it's more on actually seeing your profile and seeing your income stream if you have a 9 to 5 and every 15th and 30th pay, and they usually monitor your cash flow for at least 6 months. And when they see that there's income like steady cash flow income, and of course they also look into the historical background of your certificate of employment. That's the only time that they really do give you a credit card. And usually they also they have very not really very small, but usually the spending capacity, or how do you call that, the credit limit on the cards are not as big yet, unless you're a big depositor. That usually happens where when you deposit X amount, they usually offer you straight out like a good credit card. But nevertheless, in most cases in the Philippines, usually you have to really earn your credits. So that's the only time that they give you the card. But there are points, there are points with affiliates, like with travel agencies, and there's Mabuhay Miles, which is for Philippine Airlines, and other agencies also as well abroad. If you're tied up with Visa, because some of the local banks are tied up with Visa and Mastercard, so you can have those points and convert it into miles. Actually, it's possible, but it's a longer process for us in the Philippines comparatively to the US, where it's actually easier for you to get capital. In all honesty, it's more stringent here. I can actually say a lot more stringent.
That's fine. Thank you for sharing that. I think overall, the big picture that I want to that we can came across and agree on is that one, you have steady cash flow for your business. You can start able to redeem a certain like being a business benefit. Okay, yep. So that's how you do it. So that is how we calculate these number. Was it easy to understand? Yeah. And again, this is not my background is like I'm a nobody. Immigrant, didn't know a word of English before, C student in class. But if I can change my life around, people can do that too. And that's why um I recommend most people to read. I even in my I make my student read a lot too. Like Rich Dad Poor Dad is one of the book that I recommend you to read and everyone to read too.
Brother Justin, I lost you there because my ear. So sorry. Yeah, you were saying you were
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, I was saying that you will need to dedicate time to read the books so that you can understand business in a different perspective than what the school perspective taught us. For example, school taught us that debt is bad, but in business, good debt is good. So that's why here, one of the book I recommend you to read is Rich Dad Poor Dad. And yeah, again, I'm just giving it forward of what I know because being a business owner, like trying to transitioning from Tran yeah, trying to transition from working for someone to working for yourself can be daunting, and, I was in that shoe, and I was scammed, I was taken advantage of by other people, and that's why my approach for my business, as well as my program, is all about transparency and trying to be honest and try to help people as much as I can, you know?
The world is lucky to have more people like you. Thank you for your time. Meet us, our brother. And I always pray for you, and I always wish you well. I screwed you with my Sunday prayers. I know you're hot, God, Messiah, but you've been helping a lot of people. That you've been creating change in people's lives, and I'm grateful to help us chance to be able to really ask questions and to be taught by you. And you're not nobody, you're somebody. And you're inspiring people's lives. Keep that pros in your mind and heart. And we're grateful for people like Blue. I appreciate this time. Again, I appreciate it.
Hey, anytime, brother. Rick, so yeah, I'm gonna be, landing this airplane now. So that way you understand a lot of circle. Hey friends, I hope that you find value out of this tutorial today. If you want to learn more about Amazon FBA and the truth about Amazon that no other guru are willing to share or gatekeeping them, I'm sharing it all. And our mission here at Amazon Shufu and for my YouTube channel is to really give you the knowledge forward as how my mentor gave the knowledge to me. And if you want to learn more or to have more questions from me, feel free to check out the video, comment down below, and also follow me on Instagram as well. This is my Instagram right here. And I have been mentor people since 2019. and up to now. So you're going to learn a lot, get a lot of inspiration, and you're going to get the behind the scene of my journey. And we do host a live workshop this upcoming Sunday that you can also register as well. Check out the link in the video description so that you can sign up for my free workshop where I'll show you the step-by-step of how I find my first product using the RSR, as well as how you can learn to expand and to grow your brand on Amazon as well. And I hope you guys enjoyed today learning and consider to subscribe. Comment down below if you have any question, and I'll see you in the next videos. Peace for now.